Yep, welcome back to the channel and the series. If you've been following along, you are either setting up your home gym or thinking about it. And now we're on part 4. So if you haven't seen the other parts, go back and watch them. But I talked about using your body first, okay, probably with calisthenics, getting a pull-up bar, and/or part 3, getting a squat rack and weights with a pull-up bar on it so you can do other stuff. Now, what about everything else? Okay, this is what part 4 is going to be about. Now, if you can't tell, I like lifting with the barbell or just strength training in general, which is why I set up the home gym. But when people think gym, they may think, okay, well, I want this machine, or do I need this machine? Like cardio, what do I get? And I will try to explain the best I can, but in short, you only get what you absolutely need, okay? With machines, they come in 2 categories. Basically, it's something for cardio and something to target a specific muscle, right? I guess you could technically say a Smith machine is more than one muscle, but you get the idea. Specific body part or muscle group. I would argue that you have to ask yourself, are they absolutely necessary? For example, with body part stuff, I would actually say for most people, you want to focus on compound muscle groups before you worry about individual body parts, okay? Like biceps, for example. I don't think I've seen someone that can crank out 20 pull-ups with small arms, okay? You may want to narrow down and get them even bigger, but for most people, I don't think that's necessary. And with cardio, as another example, there's so many options. Like you can get a treadmill, you can get a skier, you can get a rowing erg, you can get a bike. But what can you also do? You can go outside and run, and I have kettlebells too, but you could like walk, jog, or sprint. And all those are absolutely free. And if you ask me, I feel like those 3 movements, and you can crawl if you want to. If you don't think it's hard, try it. But those 3 movements are what our human beings naturally do anyway. So you might as well start there if you're confused, or you're just kind of like, well, I feel like I need this piece of equipment. Now just go outside and run. So again, so that's kind of covers the cardio world. I know it's not very exciting, but it is what it is. And with machines, I know I said splitting up the body parts, but people do want to use them for assistance exercises, right? Like all my people in ATG to talk about the seated calf raise, or, oh, my hamstrings are kind of hurting. Hamstring curl machine could be an option as well. But if you are overwhelmed and trying to set something up for the first time, you have to do your research and think, okay, what could be a bodyweight alternative that can get me some assistance for what I'm trying to do, right? Like if, I don't know, like, oh, my shoulders are small. I'm just like, well, do the handstand push-up progression. And actually, if you have a squat rack and weights, you should be overhead pressing anyway. For anyone that is actually more of, I just want to look better, I would highly recommend exhausting the basic barbell lifts first. And I don't know how many people know this, because when people think bodybuilding, they kind of see, starting when it got popular, actually Arnold and company. But by that point, they were in the gym. They had a bunch of machines, a bunch of reps. But what you don't realize is that when you saw Arnold at that point, like in pumping iron, he had already been training for a while. And the training that he did early on was more of the basic barbell lifts. Actually, he had, I think, snatch, but clean and jerk numbers. He would compete in traditional, like Olympic style weightlifting. And I think it was like a basic 5x5 type deal. And even if he didn't actually do that, the people before them, they kind of knew. It's like, well, if you want a bigger chest, you start at the very least, start with a bench. Okay. I don't want to be too harsh, but if you're like, oh, my chest is small, it would be a lot simpler and honestly more effective to take your bench up. Everyone kind of rips on starting strength or in strong lifts 5x5 because they're like, well, it's too basic. I'm just like, you don't realize, like, if you can barely bench, I don't know, 135, what do you think you're going to look like when you get to 225, when you get to 275, right? Aren't you going to look different? And it would be a better starting point there. And then from that point, it's like, okay, I kind of, it's harder to add weight to the bar, and it's more, the setup is more efficient to do that. And I would say that's easier to set up than like, oh, I need this full rack of dumbbells to work dumbbell flies, as an example, So work on the basic barbell lifts first. Even Greg O'Gallagher at Kinobody, he even says, like, focus on that stuff. Weighted chin-ups, squat, deadlift, right? Deadlift is a hot topic now, but it still works. RDLs even. Curl with a barbell, okay? Exhaust that. That was kind of a big rant on bodybuilding, but exhaust all that stuff first before you worry about the finer stuff, okay? I think it's kind of unfortunate that, I'll just call them out, young guys going to the gym, and they see the bodybuilding trend of like all these machines, all these different angles of the body part of the like chest, and they blow it out the water. You're going to failure, but your failure weight's kind of light. I'm just like, well, save your energy, work on the big stuff first, get your bench up to like 300, and then move on from there, okay? Even if you go to like 315 and kind of stop stressing out about it so much and take it slower, do that, and then move on. Anyway, for the most people that I just want to feel better, feel stronger, get stronger, start small, okay? That's why we started with body weight. Before you think gym, because when people think gym, they think, I need to drive this place. There's all these machines around here. There's a bunch of people on cardio machines, right? There's rows of people on those things. The thing that's good about a gym, like a physical gym, not your home gym, is that you're in the environment, all the stuff is there, they have this floor space for you, okay? The problem is that when people maybe want to bring it home, or even think working out in general, they think that's what it looks like to have set up before you even start. Does that make sense? It's like, well, I don't have the floor space in my garage to set up the preacher curl machine or to set up the leg press, so I'm not going to do anything. Don't do that. Like, because if you haven't set it up yet, or you go on vacation, and I love hotels, but their gyms could use some work. I understand liability, but still, it's not. Unless you Google a barbell gym in the area, your hotel is probably not going to have so much. What do? Nothing, right? If you haven't set up your home gym, you're going to do nothing. You're going to wait, research, do Facebook Marketplace until you start. No, you start. And there is one thing that I absolutely love about the mindset of the calisthenics people. Paul Wade, probably not his real name, but from Combat Conditioning, and Matt Schifferly, Red Delta Project. He actually has a book called Fitness Independence. But they both preach the fact that even especially in strength training, that you need to adopt the mindset that you're going to take control over your own strength, health, fitness, okay? And if that means that you're doing push-ups in your living room every morning, and that's all the equipment you have or you care to get, then you do that, okay? You don't sit around waiting. If you don't even have a garage to set it up, you don't sit around saying, well, I don't have a gym, I'm just not going to do anything. No, you research, you figure it out, right? We already have 2 steps of this whole list, which is your body and a pull-up bar. You get it, and you take your training seriously, okay? That was a bit of a rant, and I know this section is like, this particular video is like, what do I pick? Or what do I do now? What should I get? Do I get a rower? I heard that's good. Honestly, just get a ruck backpack and go start sprinting. Warm up. But this is for the people that have that paralysis by analysis, that think that a gym has to be a certain way. It absolutely does not, okay? This is a giant video of a non-answer, but Get your strength training first, okay? Because that's going to bleed over into whatever other fitness you want to do. And then if you have the space, the money, and the absolute yearning, then go out and get all the other stuff you want to. But unless you're honest with yourself and hitting the basic stuff, you don't need to stress out about that stuff, okay? Right? Like everyone's, as an example, think about a leg press machine. You know how big that thing is? And you can actually load it up with a decent amount of weight. Why don't you just get a squat rack, okay? And anybody that says, well, spinal decompression and it's dangerous because you're floating in space. I'm going to make a video about training for older populations, think of like 30, 40 plus. If you think squatting in free air is spinal compression and dangerous, spinal compression already happens when you sit down every single day. It's called gravity. But if you train yourself with a heavier load than gravity normally provides, your spine can actually handle the stresses of gravity easier. And then talk about stability. What do older people struggle with? Falling down, stability. And the way you train that isn't to absolutely strip down the need for stability just to work the muscle. That doesn't make any sense. It's just like, why do you work both? Like a squat. Okay, you're afraid by the barbell, start with body weight. All right, can you do that? And then hold like a weight in front of you, goblet squat. Oh, that's getting easier. Let's go up to, I don't know, can you goblet squat 30 pounds? Once you're at that point, the barbell is going to feel not so bad. And then it's off to the races. But don't be intimidated by this stuff and realize that it's giving you a lot more benefits if you actually keep it in. Also, it just makes life easier, right? Simpler. Like I'm actually sitting in my gym right now. It's this big. But you get the idea. All right, so rant over. Training equipment level 4. If you think you need it, probably not. If you absolutely want it, go for it. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. The newsletter is down there. If you have any questions, let me know. See you in the next one. Bye.